Hello friends, welcome back to Eduonix Learning Solution. In our last two videos, we covered about how to set up a Google Search Console account and few settings and preferences required for a successful setup of an account. In this section, we are going to cover each subsections of Google Search Console which may prove helpful to you. The first section is messages. Google can send variety of messages, and these messages are really going to alert you about any problems that Google finds. Google can also give you tips about improving your website. That way, it can help you improving websites ranking too. I would also like to talk about the types of messages you may receive just to understand how important this section is. You may receive messages on when there is an increase in errors, when you have issues with mobile version of a website, if you have any issues accessing or crawling the website, when your site has been hacked or some malware, or when some manual actions or penalties have been charged. Let's check out all these kind of messages in detail. When it's increase in errors, Google will notify you if they find an increase in errors on your site. For example, if your website has more number of broken links or page not found error or 404 error, Google will quickly notify you, so that you can take a proper initiative to minimize those errors. Issues with mobile version of a website. You may know how important it is to have a mobile-friendly website, and if Google detects any issues with displaying your website on mobile devices, they are going to notify on that as well. If you have any issues accessing or crawling the website. If Google cannot access your website for any reason, they are going to let you know that they attempted to crawl the website, but they were unsuccessful. So you may look into why they may not have been able to actually crawl your website. If your site has any malware or it was hacked, Google will notify you on same, so that you can quickly fix that issue and make sure that the website doesn't get harmed in search engine rankings. And of course, that you are not harming any of your visitors as well, because when they find an issue, they are going to let visitors know. So you want to make sure that it's taken care as quickly as possible. Last but not the least, when it's manual actions or penalties, you can also receive manual actions against your site from Google as well. And if they find that you have violated any guidelines, then they will notify you about that and will manually penalize your website. After fixing the errors, you may resubmit your website and reconsiderations of the request and re-indexing the website. So these were the few types of the messages which Google can send us if required. Moving ahead with the another section of search appearance. Search appearance is one of the main sections of Google Search Console. This section reveals how your site appears in Google search result pages. Its appearance is influenced by a variety of factors and may include components like the page title, snippets, site links, site search options, URLs, event-rich snippets, breadcrumbs, and products or rich snippets. Within the search appearance section is the information regarding structured data, rich cards, HTML improvements, accelerated mobile pages setup, and so on. Let's have a glance on each of these subtopics one by one. Starting with structured data. Structured data markup is a text-based organization of the data that is included in a file and served from the web. It typically uses the schema.org vocabulary, an open community effort to promote standard structured data in a variety of online applications. Structured data markup is most easily represented in JSON LD format, which stands for JavaScript Object Notations for Linked Data. Structured data markup describes things on web along with their properties. For example, if your website has recipes, you could use markup to describe properties for each recipe, such as the summary, the URL to a photo for the dish, and its overall ratings for user. The structured data page in Search Console shows the structured information that Google was able to detect on your website. It also provides information about the errors in page markup that may prevent rich snippets or other search features from being displayed. In this particular example, or in this particular screen, you may see different data types that we have created. First is the blog posting with the source of schema.org, and only one page is listed with 0 item errors. Moving to the another subsection of rich cards. Rich cards are new search result format building on the success of rich snippets. Just like rich snippets, rich cards use schema.org structured markup to display content in an even more engaging and visual format with a focus on providing a better mobile user experience. Rich cards are a good way to provide data to Google search about events, products, or opportunities on your website. Rich card data can be displayed to users in a variety of formats on different devices and can help drive traffic to your website. For example, if you have a recipe site, you can build a richer preview of your content with a prominent image for each dish. This visual format helps users find what they want right away. So, are you getting users who specifically want that specially delicious cookie recipe you have? Presently, rich cards can be used for only 2 categories: recipes and movies. Moving to the another section of data highlighter. Data highlighter is a Webmaster tool for teaching Google about the pattern of the structured data on your website. This impressive tool is one of the easiest ways to implement structured data, especially when you don't have access to the website's backend. With the help of the data highlighter, one can improve their look in search engine result page. Tag a set of similar pages all at once. How to leverage this for SEO? Click on Start Highlighting. A pop-up will appear. Enter your URL and choose the data you want to highlight. You may highlight articles, events, reviews, local business, movies, products, restaurants, TV shows, etc. Once you have made your selection, Google will render the page in Google Search Console and allow you to highlight the relevant data. You now have to select the text or images per page that you want to highlight. You can highlight title, images, categories, and ratings. Google will then prompt you to highlight data in other pages as well and help create page sets. Moving ahead with HTML improvements. Google gathers and displays errors discovered during crawls of the websites here. Common errors are identified and flagged, such as missing title tags, duplicate titles, or even non-indexable content. This is a great place to start when performing a website SEO audit. Last subsection in search appearance is accelerated mobile pages. Accelerated mobile pages (AMP) are lightweight pages designed to load quickly on mobile devices. For AMP to work properly, you need to create matching valid AMP pages with the right schema.org markup. Also need to make sure that these AMP pages are linked properly. The AMP report shows a count of AMP pages either successfully indexed or with AMP related errors encountered with Google crawled your site. The current report provides a quick review of your AMP errors, which you can analyze per specific error type and URL. It will help you find the most common AMP issues on your website. Currently, we are facing one AMP pages with a critical issues, that's prohibited or invalid use of HTML tag. We may click on this down arrow key and check out on which particular page we are facing a problem. And when the problem was detected, there's only one problem, we can quickly highlight this thing to our website designer or the developer, who may take a proper initiative in this and help us to rectify the error. That's all for the search appearance. Stay connected with Eduonix Learning Solutions to learn more about Google Search Console subsections. The next section in Google Search Console is Search Traffic. This section provides insights regarding the keywords of your website is showing up for, linking metrics from internal and external sources, any manual actions, international targeting metrics, and the mobile usability of your website. Let's start this one by one. Let's click on Search Analytics. This is one of the most useful reports in Google Search Console. The Search Analytics sections of Google Search Console provides some really valuable information. It basically tells you how often your site appears in Google search result, for which queries, how many clicks these results get, and how this changed over time. Because of the filtering and grouping options like search type and location, you can easily focus on specific markets or mobile queries. One can use this tab to identify SEO strategies to increase organic visibility by re-optimizing content that has multiple keywords ranking on the bottom of the page 1 or on the top of page 2. It can also be used to guide the creation of your content plans for different SEO campaigns. Here in this particular example, the dates, we can set the date range. Let's say I'll set the date range for the last 7 days. If I click on clicks and impressions, here I can see the graph which shows I have received 2 clicks out of 14 impressions. Queries which was more important and popular for this particular site was different keywords in Java, which received 2 clicks out of 7 impressions. Keywords in Java and keywords in Java, they have received 2 and 1 impressions respectively. If let's suppose I wish to search from which particular countries I am getting these searches, then India, United States, Canada, Bulgaria, Kenya are few of the countries from where I am receiving these visits. Moving to the another sections to the links to your site. The links to your site report list links that Googlebot discovered during its crawling and indexing process, as well as the most common link sources and the pages on your site with the most links. In addition to this, you can also see the most common anchor text founded by Google. This report also provides you with the ability to download the tab into Excel document for further analysis or benchmarking. Internal links. The number of internal links pointing to a page is a signal to search engines about the relative importance of that page. Through this report, we can see the pages with maximum links to them from within your website. Since internal links plays a part in search engine rankings, this information can be helpful. Here's how you can use this report in SEO. Many internal links to a web page inform Google that this is an important page. As a result, that page should rank higher than other pages for keywords present on that page. You should focus on building internal links to important pages that do not have any or many internal links pointing to them. Avoid sending all your links to the About or Contact Us page. Instead, use internal links to strengthen your deep and internal pages, such as content-rich articles or information pages. Pages that have internal links pointing to them but have been deleted or renamed should be identified and redirected using 301 redirects. Please note, if an important page does not appear in this list, or if a less important page has a relatively large number of internal links, you should consider reviewing your internal linking structure again. Manual actions. Let's hope this section is totally empty for you. This report informs you when Google penalizes your site for any spam or black hat techniques. Keep in mind that a manual action is different from an algorithmic penalty. Algorithmic penalties are automatically and will not be reflected in this section. Manual penalties, on the other hand, are more severe and require you to take extensive action. After fixing the reported issues and ensuring your site contains meaningful content, you must file a reconsideration request to get your site ranking back in the SERPs. International targeting. This section is again very important because there's two main options: language and country. Here you can target your audience based on location and language settings. For the language setting, hreflang tags are necessary in your website. The hreflang markup of a web page can be used to identify the language and geographical targeting. The country tab is an option if you want to target users in a specific country. If you do not want to target any specific region, this is where you can inform Google that you want this option set to unlisted. Content-specific domains such as .de and .ca are automatically associated with the corresponding country and therefore do not need any specific targeting to be set here. Last section is mobile usability. Mobile usability tabs outlines if your website is mobile friendly or not. This report lists problems that might be keeping your website from delivering a positive web experience on mobile devices. The mobile usability section of Google Search Console lists mobile user experience issues related to flash content, small font, fixed width report, view report not configured, content not size to view report, tab targets too close. Mobile optimization is a significant ranking factor and your website needs to be totally up to the par. For SEO purpose, fix all the issues reported and make sure that website delivers a great experience on every device. Hence, it is important to stay on top of any mobile usability issues so that your website renders correctly for all types of devices, especially with Google moving to the mobile first index. That's all for this section. The third section in Google Search Console is Google Index. This section reports on how Google is crawling and indexing your website and keywords. Here you can look for how many pages of the website are currently included in Google's index and also remove unwanted URLs if any. A quick glance can show you if there is a decrease, increase or a stable line. This helps identify any specific windows of time that might have included shifts in the overall indexing of your website. Index status. The index status report provides data about the URLs that Google tried to index in the current property. Here, the basic view of the data shows only total indexed value, whereas the advanced view shows some more additional data like URLs blocked by robots.txt and the URLs removed. Total indexed URLs in your site shows the total URLs available to appear in search results along with other URLs Google might discover by other means. This number changes over time as you add and remove pages. The number of indexed URLs is almost always significantly smaller than the number of crawled URLs because total index excludes URLs identified as duplicates, non-canonical or those that contain a meta no index tag. URLs blocked by robots.txt provides you the total number of URLs disallowed from crawling by your robots.txt file. If a site is very big, you might want to hide other data so that the graph is scaled to a readable range. URLs removed. This section provides the number of URLs you have removed with the URL removal tool. Again, this value should be quite low in comparison to the other URLs in this report. So it's easier to view this selection by itself rather than in comparison with other URLs. Interpretations of the index status. There are few things you should always look for when checking out your index status. First, your indexed pages should be steadily increasing in number. This tells you two things. Google can index your website and you keep your website alive by adding content. Second, sudden drops in the graph. This means Google is having trouble accessing your website. Something is blocking Google out, whether it's robots.txt changes or a server that's down. You need to look into it immediately. Last, sudden and unexpected changes in the graph. This could be an issue with duplicate content, automatically generated pages, or even hacks. Moving ahead with the blocked URLs. The blocked URLs tab is a great way to easily identify if certain pages are blocked from Googlebot. Make sure you check this tab to optimize the crawling of a page's resources that you want being crawled by Googlebot. Remove URLs. You can also remove URLs temporarily from the Google index with the Remove URL tab. This tab is useful when you need to remove a page quickly. Please note The tab only removes the page temporarily, say around 90 days, and you still will need to update your website to permanently remove the page. So be sure to keep an eye on Google Index section. Also, don't forget to keep an eye on our next video on Google Search Console, which will be about the crawl section. The last main section of Google Search Console is the crawl section. This section provides smart marketers information regarding broken links on the website, crawl stats from Googlebot, and URL parameter information. This section also provides tools to submit your content to Google, test your robots.txt file, and submit your sitemap to Google. Let's have a look on each of these subsections one by one. Crawl errors. This section helps to find out error that Googlebot has discovered during the crawling of your website. Specific error codes like 404 or 500 can be filtered to view them in separate segments. Once the errors have been corrected, mark them as fixed to inform Google and clean up the report for the future. This section lists two types of errors: site errors and URL errors. Site errors. This section of the report shows the main issues for the past 90 days that prevented Googlebot from accessing your entire site. URL errors list specific errors Google encountered when trying to crawl specific desktop or phone pages. Each main section in the URL error reports corresponds to the different crawling mechanisms Google uses to access your pages, and the errors listed are specific to those kinds of errors. Moving ahead with the crawl status. This is your handy overview of Googlebot activity on your website. It shows you the pages it crawled per day, the number of bytes downloaded per day, and the time spent downloading a page. Depending on the number of pages of your website, this might be handy information. If you have made changes to your site structure, robots.txt or for instance added XML sitemaps for the very first time, that should show in the provided graphs. In case the stats show a drastically declining line and even a flat line at 0, there's probably something really wrong with either the website or your server. Next is Fetch as Google. The Fetch as Google tool enables you to test how Google crawls or renders a URL on your website. You can use Fetch as Google to see whether Googlebot can access a page on your site, how it renders the page, and whether any page resources such as image or scripts are blocked to Googlebot. This tool stimulates a crawl and render execution as done in Google's normal crawling and rendering process, and is useful for debugging crawl issues on your website. Here's how to use Google Fetch as Google tool. Enter the URL you want Google to fetch. The fetch button checks whether the URL connects and whether the tool encountered errors, redirects, or any security loopholes. It checks the code but does not render the page. The Fetch and Render button fetches the page and checks for all the issues and renders it. You can use Fetch the page for desktops, smartphones, handhelds, and even check the mobile XHTML. After you fetch and render a page, you should, if required, submit it to Google for indexation. After fetching the URL, Google may return any of the following statuses: Complete if Google successfully crawl your page. Partial implies that you have blocked Google from accessing some of your coding resources such as JavaScript or jQuery. They should be unblocked, otherwise Google cannot render your page correctly. Redirected. You set up a redirect to another page. Not found. Google could not find the URL on the server. Not authorized. Google and other viewers have been blocked from accessing the URL. Blocked. Your robot's text blocks Google from accessing your URL. Unreachable or temporarily unreachable. Google's request got timed out. Error. Some error prevented Google from accessing the URL. Now the question is when you should use the fetch as Google tool and resubmit pages for reindexation. After fixing any of the statuses, or after optimizing a page with images, copy or videos, or after adding a new category subcategory to your website, whenever you optimize your site for mobile, whenever you change your sitemap.xml or robots.txt files, whenever you set up 301 redirects, or when you buy an SSL encryption, when changes your HTTP into your HTTPS. Moving to the another subsections called robots.txt tester. A robots.txt file is a file at the root of your website that indicates those parts of your site you don't want accessed by search engine crawlers. Robots.txt tester is used to test robots.txt markup and check for errors. For example, if you don't want search engines to view your CGI bin, admin login, forgot password, members' private data, and some other areas of your website. To prevent search engines from accessing such areas, you have to write a robots.txt file. The robots.txt tester section tests your robots file and reports errors and warnings. It allows you to test pages to check for any blocking. Moving to the another section, sitemaps. Once you create an XML sitemap, you can submit it to Google here. An XML sitemaps helps to make it easier for a search bot to discover the pages on your site. It also informs search engines about the URLs on your website along with the date they were changed. It helps search engines crawl and index your URLs efficiently. A view of this section allows you to see the difference between the number of submitted and indexed pages. Additionally, if Google detects an error with the previously submitted sitemap, they will be listed here. Essentially, the tools helps you fine-tune your sitemaps.xml to ensure all the URLs are indexed properly. The last subsection in the crawl section is URL parameters. Sometimes Google needs some help in understanding certain parameters. Rather, URL parameters. This section allows you to improve Google's crawl's efficiency by indicate how it should handle certain parameters in your URL structure. Be careful here. If you incorrectly exclude URL, pages you want to drive traffic to may disappear from search results. Next is security issues. The final section we need to look at is the security issues. Obviously, any security issue is a very big issue that one should pay attention to so as Google crawls your website. If they find any security related issues at all, they are going to list them all here. Last is web tools. This section is going to give you a variety of sources as it relates to Google Search Console and in improving your site for search results. So hopefully by now you can see just how important your Google Search Console account is, and it's very valuable tool to have when you are working on a website, especially if you are working to rank a website in search engines. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to be notified of new tutorials, and don't forget to share it with anyone who may find this helpful as well.